All right, today we're cracking open a cosmic case file on one of the most epic poems ever written, John Milton's Paradise Lost. We're going to focus on the first offense, the one transgression that changed, well, absolutely everything. Let's dive in. And we're starting with a heck of a declaration from our prime suspect. This one line from Satan really says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the story's core conflict, this massive collision between defiant pride and absolute authority. It's his motive, his philosophy, and his battle cry, all rolled into one. So, our investigation kicks off exactly where Milton drops us into the story. Not in some beautiful, pristine garden, but in the fiery chaos right after a failed rebellion, deep inside the burning lake of hell. Okay, let's meet our prime suspect, Satan. Now, it's really important to get his backstory. He wasn't always the Prince of Darkness. He was Lucifer, a big shot archangel. His fall from grace was about as dramatic and catastrophic as it gets. And now his entire existence is defined by that defeat and his complete refusal to accept it. This, right here, is his MO. His main weapon isn't some divine power anymore, it's his mind and his mouth. The guy is an incredible public speaker, which is why a lot of readers actually find him kind of compelling, almost heroic at the start. He gets his defeated followers all fired up with these speeches that are just dripping with pride. But what's really going on here? It's not just about refusing to serve, it's a total, all-consuming self-absorption that's going to fuel this entire story. So what's the game plan? Well, a head-on assault against heaven already failed spectacularly. So the new strategy is all about indirect revenge. The fallen angels get together and basically decide, if we can't hurt God directly, let's go after his new favorite project, man. And just like that, the stage is set for some major cosmic drama. And now, get ready for some serious whiplash. The scene shifts completely. We're leaving the despair and darkness of hell for the perfect, blissful innocence of Eden. It's this stark contrast that really helps us understand the true stakes of this whole thing. And here you can see the two worlds, side by side. Hell is just a place of misery they've created for themselves, ruled by the tyranny of pride. But Eden, it runs on free obedience. It's a state of pure bliss, where love, not force, is the law of the land. I mean, you really can't get more opposite than that. This brings us to probably the most critical piece of evidence in our entire case, free will. Milton's whole argument really hinges on this idea. God himself explains that humanity was made sufficient to have stood, though free to fall. Basically, true love and real obedience have to be a choice. You can't force it. And this vulnerability, this freedom to choose wrong, that is exactly what Satan plans to exploit. Now this is crucial. Adam and Eve weren't just left in the dark about all this. They got a direct warning. The angel Raphael literally comes down and gives them a full intelligence briefing about Satan's rebellion and what he's planning, so they have all the tools, all the knowledge and strength they need to resist. Okay, now we're arriving at the crime scene. This is where we see the bad guy put his plan into motion, and it's a strategy built on some seriously clever and careful psychological manipulation. So, to pull this off, Satan has to transform himself. And talk about a downgrade. The once bright archangel who led legions now has to debase himself by slithering into the body of a snake. This physical degradation is a perfect mirror of his moral decay, a powerful symbol of how evil in the end doesn't create anything, it just tears things down. Satan's four-step process here is a masterclass in manipulation. First, he gets his target alone, finding Eve when she's by herself. Second, he butters her up with flattery, appealing to her vanity. Third, he plants those little seeds of doubt, making her question God's motives. And finally, the knockout blow. He promises she'll become a god herself. See, he's not really tempting her with a piece of fruit. He's tempting her with power and ambition. And that, of course, brings us to the climax, the moment of truth, the point of no return where free will gets used and paradise is broken for good. Okay, this is such an important distinction. Eve is tricked. Satan's arguments are sophisticated. She's genuinely deceived. But Adam, he isn't. He sees exactly what's happened, and he knows the consequences. He makes a conscious, agonizing choice to fall right alongside her, because he just can't imagine a life in paradise without her. His fall is a tragedy, but it's a tragedy of love. So that leaves us with this really tough question, right? Who's at fault? Is it the liar who set the trap? The victim who fell for it? Or the partner who knew it was a trap and walked right in anyway? Milton doesn't really give us an easy answer. The choice has been made. So now we have to look at the immediate fallout. And the consequences aren't just external, they're deeply internal. They change the very nature of humanity and the world itself. And the results are just devastating. Their eyes are opened, but not to becoming gods. They just see their own nakedness, and innocence is instantly replaced by shame. Love gets twisted with lust. Harmony turns into fighting, as they immediately start blaming each other. And for the very first time, suffering and death become a part of their world. But the case file doesn't just slam shut on total despair. The final act gives us the verdict, the sentence, and a surprising, almost paradoxical glimmer of hope for the future. Before they're kicked out of Eden, the angel Michael gives Adam a vision of all of human history. He sees all the pain and struggle that's coming. But, and this is a big but, he also sees the promise of a future redeemer, someone who will eventually offer a path to salvation and conquer both sin and death. And this is really Milton's final message. Sure, they're banished from the physical garden, but they leave with something new, the potential to build an internal paradise, one founded on faith and repentance. The whole journey is no longer about living in a perfect place, but about trying to be good in a very imperfect world. And this leaves us with the poem's biggest, most provocative question, what some scholars call the fortunate fall. If this whole mess was necessary for God's ultimate mercy and grace to be revealed through redemption, was it really just a catastrophe? Or was it, in some grand cosmic sense, a necessary test that ended up revealing an even deeper kind of love? That's the question Milton leaves us with.